All right, we got longtime NFL quarterback and former analyst turned offensive coordinator Matt Hasselbeck on today to talk about Justin Fields and what expectations he has for the Jets in Aaron Glenn's first year. Matt, thanks for hopping on, man. You ready to get into this?
Yeah, let's go, man. Good to see you. It's been a
Matt,
while.
great seeing you, man. I'm sure you've seen the tweets and all the reports coming out of Jets camp. Justin Fields has struggled from what we've all seen so far. We're getting closer to their season opener. So if you're a Jets fan, are you worrying or do you need to wait until there's some real football being played to truly evaluate Justin Fields?
Well, if I'm a Jets fan, I mean, do you know any Jets fans? You're always worrying. I mean, what are we talking about? Do you know a Jets fan that doesn't worry all the time? I actually think Jets fans are like sort of past the point of worrying. They're like, oh, here we go. Like when he dislocated the toe in practice, it was like
Oh,
I could
man.
just picture like every Jets fan that I know from Adam Schefter on down all the way. Like they're like, here we go. Like this is it. Just like Aaron Rodgers, like, here we go. Jets, we're cursed. We're cursed. Like, I'm glad Justin Fields is okay. I'm glad his toe is okay. But I mean, if you know a Jets fan, like I feel like you know all the Jets fans. It's like it's a thing. They've been because I grew up and the Jets were awesome. It was Gastineau, Klecko, they had Altoon, like they were amazing. And then even as a player, I'd go up against the Jets and they had some really good teams. They had some tough defenses. They had Curtis Martin, they had Vinny Testaverde, they had Chad Pennington. I mean, they were balling and I don't know. Ever since I retired and I started working at ESPN, and then now I just feel like the Jets fans, it's just been a tough go, man. It's been a tough go.
So, but for four fields though, because Aaron Glenn was talking about how we only have a small sample size. I mean, you go to practice sometimes. He's throwing the ball high. You watch the preseason games, kind of throwing the ball in the dirt a little bit. It just hasn't been there yet. So, if you're first year offensive coordinator Tanner Ingstrand, like, how do you get the best out of this guy? Like, how do you make him comfortable?
Yeah. Well, play to his strengths. I played with a lot of guys and, they play a lot of quarterbacks. And some guys, even coaching high school football, I would say this is 100% true. Some guys are amazing in like mini camp practices. Like we're wearing shorts and a t-shirt and we're throwing on air. Some guys dominate at that. They're like amazing at that. But when it gets to real football, like they're not as good at tackle football, 11 on 11. They're good at 7 on 7 or 1 on 1s, but not 11 on 11. And I think the hope for Jets fans and for the coaching staff there, that Justin Fields is good at tackle football. Like that's what you saw it at Ohio State. You've seen glimpses of it. Thought he did a really nice job for Pittsburgh last year, all things considered. I probably would have considered starting him. When they made the decision to go back to Russell Wilson. But I think like I played with guys. I'll use Andrew Luck as an example. A guy that I played with. He was amazing at tackle football, 11 on 11 tackle football. He gives you something with his legs. He didn't necessarily always rely on it. Became a really really strong passer, good decision maker, had good vision. And so I think for Justin, if I were to say like where I would want to see him take a leap, it's in his decision making. Sometimes you can play with like an aggressiveness and a confidence and an aura about you. He did that at Ohio State. He has all the tools, but in the NFL, I feel like he's either played reckless or like, oh, it's not there. I'm gonna throw it away. Oh, that's my first read. It's close enough. I'm gonna try to take it. And so, like, I think that if he could just get his confidence back, if he could just feel like, hey, man, I'm invincible. I'm one of the best in the world at what I do. Because that's what we saw when he was in college. And now that he's in the NFL, I feel like he's playing like not to lose the job.
Mm.
And as a quarterback, I've been there. You don't really want to be there. That's not where you want to be. It's kind of like being on a golf course and like really feeling it versus like, man, I just hope I don't lose my ball right now. And I think we've all been there. So that's what I would say.
You're talking about that confidence. Let's go even deeper on this one because we see him target Garrett Wilson all the time. I get it. They're boys from college. They had a lot of success at the Ohio State, but we haven't been able to evaluate another number two option. And no one has kind of stepped up and taken that job because mainly all the targets are going to G5. There are reports out there that the Jets are in the market to trade for another number two wide receiver or number two option. So if you're GM, Darren Muji, you've been doing all the right things so far when it comes to re-signing guys and bringing in decent or good enough grocery pieces or groceries to make a good team or make a good whatever meal. Do you trade? Do you have to make this trade now, or do you go and wait till camp's kind of over and then you make a call to a veteran receiver that's kind of on the couch right now?
Yeah, I don't see a blockbuster trade. And the reason I say that is that like a new head coach comes in and it's all about the identity that he's looking for his team. It's all about identity. Like, what are they looking for? I look at what like they did in Seattle with Mike McDonald. He got rid of DK Metcalf. He got rid of Geno Smith. He got rid of Tyler Lockett. He said, you know what, we're going to be a top 10 defense and we're going to run the ball. I want to bring in a fullback. I can have like guys like Cooper Kupp as my wide receiver that like they're just solid. They're pros. They're maybe not like home run hitters. I'm going to spend less money there. I got guys like Jake Bobo, an undrafted free agent at wide receiver, guys that can block. We're going to have a play action type game. We're going to, we're not going to be in shotgun empty all the time. We're going to try to have ball control. I feel like that's kind of like what Aaron Glenn's trying to do. Defensive head coach. Mike Vrabel's doing a similar thing in New England. They're not, the Patriots, they're going to go get Terry McLaurin. They're going to go do it. They got all the cap space. They got more cap space than anybody in the NFL. Vrabel's like, no, we're good. We're good with guys you've mostly never heard of at wide receiver, guys that can contribute on special teams. We're going to play great defense. We're going to run the ball first. We got like Travion Henderson, Ramondre Stevenson. That's how we're going to invest in our young quarterback. And so the mindset for a defensive head coach, a lot of times, and I think it's one of the reasons that the defensive coaches, throughout Justin Fields' career have really liked him. They see a vision for him as their quarterback with a ball control, threat to run, threat to get outside the pocket, can still hit a home run every once in a while. I don't see them going out and trying to get somebody else to be that like Robin to Garrett's Batman. I think they're comfortable with where they're at, and not to say they want to do it in a year, but for this year, like I think there's enough holes there for the Jets. I don't see them going wide receiver.
Okay, so from a quarterback's perspective, then does that hurt you playing for a defensive-minded head coach?
I think it's just like there's a balance there. Like, obviously Tom Brady, the greatest quarterback of all time, played with the greatest coach of all time, Bill Belichick, and it worked. But I can just say for me, from my personal experience, I had mostly offensive coaches, head coaches. I went from Mike Holmgren to Jim Mora to Pete Carroll, and it was a change for me in my mind. Like as a quarterback, and I think Justin Fields probably was feeling this when he had Ryan Day. It's like, hey man, we're cutting it loose. We believe in our guys. We're cutting it loose. We're gonna like make them pay. If it's there, take the shot. Like be aggressive. Let's do it. Then you go to a defensive head coach that like literally the conversations are completely different. And like I remember when Pete Carroll came in as a head coach in Seattle, his first year, he had one rule for me, like one rule. He was like, just don't turn the ball over. Just don't turn it over. Well, what did I do? I didn't never really in my career was I a turnover guy. I started turning the ball over more than I ever had in my entire life. And I don't know what it is. It reminded me of when I'd play in like a golf scramble and someone would say like, hey, just don't leave the putt short. Well, what do you leave the putt short. Like why? Like you're just sort of thinking of it, and so like the best thing that I could say to a young quarterback who's playing with a defensive head coach who wants to play safe, I would say to them, like, remember when you had driver's ed and you were like 10-2 and you were driving defensively, like not to get into an accident, like that's actually not the safest way to drive. Like honestly, driving 55 on the highway is like more dangerous than just like going with the flow, being aggressive, being decisive, making it clear, here's what I'm about to do. Driving with a confidence, not driving it like you stole it, but just driving aggressive, like driving like I'm in control. Here's what I'm doing. Here's where I'm going. This is what I'm doing with the football, and not the driver's ed version. And sometimes you see young quarterbacks with a defensive head coach, they get into this like, oh, coach just told me like if it's not there, throw it away. So 1, 2, throw it away. Like, no, that's not it. That's not winning football. There's nothing special about that. You certainly shouldn't be making millions of dollars to do that. So, I've got high school quarterbacks that I coach now, and I pay them in like smoothies after practice. They've learned that lesson. I think NFL quarterbacks who make millions, like that's the key lesson you got to learn when you're dealing with coaching. That's that kind of style.
So Aaron Glenn's style has come in and kind of won the locker room over. Not even the locker room, the entire building. There's a new energy that's going on at the Jets facility as well. We talk about him coming in, changing the culture, but Matt, as you know, this is a wins and losses town. So how much grace does a guy like Aaron Glenn get in year one?
Yeah, I just think improvement. You know, like Aaron Glenn, I mean, for everybody that knows him, he's awesome, right? He's just super fun. He's a former player. He's talented at what he does. So change the culture always feels weird to me because I'd have new head coaches come in and they'd be like, "Oh, we're going to change the culture." I'm like, "Man, the culture was not the problem. Like blocking the three technique was the problem. Catching the ball was the problem." But I do think culture matters, and I think like really when it matters is when times get tough. Are we going to pull apart? Or are we going to pull together? And I think in the past, what you've seen at the Jets, there's like whispering and complaining and like pulling apart a little bit and separating and finger pointing. And so I think like that's probably where the DNA and the culture and that kind of stuff's going to matter. So expectations, to be frank, I think they're sort of low. Like, and I think that's okay. I think we need to see improvement. I think we need to see kind of like what happened in Detroit. It wasn't like perfect right away for Dan Campbell in Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
It was a work in progress, but over time, you said, you know what? There's something special and there's something different about this team. There's a physicality, there's a mental toughness and a physical toughness that this team has that's uncommon. And I think that's probably the thing. People are probably picking the Bills to be the division winners this year. I think there's a lot of excitement for what Mike Vrabel's doing in New England, and people
Yeah.
are feeling like maybe they could even be a playoff team this year. So I think it's going to be competitive for the Jets, but I think this is like building a foundation kind of a year for them.
We've talked Jets football and quarterbacks all day now. Let's talk about what Matt Hasselbeck's been up to. You've been working with Diagnose CTE. CTE is a hot topic when we talk about NFL guys, both current and former. So, how'd you get involved in? And I guess how's that going so far?
Yeah, so diagnosecte.org is a website, and basically it's a study that we're trying to do to diagnose CTE in the living. So right now you can only diagnose CTE once someone has passed away. And so a lot of times people are just like, "Oh, I think I have CTE." Well, you don't know that. Science hasn't caught up to that. You can't know that until after. So we're trying to develop a way to figure that out beforehand so we can treat it and maybe even learn a lot more, and who knows, maybe prevent. And also differentiate things like dementia and Alzheimer's and CTE and like the why and the what and all that kind of stuff. So that study is open to anybody who's 50 or older. I'm not yet 50. I turned 50 this year. 50 or older that played college football or more. So that's the study. And I think one of the things that I've just prided myself on, I was fortunate enough to play 18 years in the NFL, and I feel pretty healthy, all things considered, brain included. But that's not the case for a lot of the guys that, quite honestly, protected me. And so, like anything that I can do to give back to them, to kind of support them and maybe help protect them or future generations,
Yeah.
I'm all about. So it's a really simple study. It's a 2-day study, and it's free. And I think they might even help pay you and all that kind of stuff. So it's a great opportunity to give back for anybody that loves the game and wants to see the future of the game safer.
Yeah, much respect to you for that, man, because it's all about like our time is done. It's all about trying to make the game a lot more fun, a lot more safer for the next generation. And this is something that could help my kid. I got a 2-year old. He comes from a football family, as you know, so he's going to have to. I don't want to say have to, but he's probably going to gravitate to playing football, and that's always been something I've been worried about. Am I going to allow him to go out there, just knock his head around, for years to play the game that he loves? So I'm glad that you're involved with that study and that research yourself. And now you're an offensive coordinator now. You're about to kick off your season down in Tennessee for Innsworth High School. How geeked up are you for this upcoming season, and what's it like working under your little brother, Tim, who's the head coach?
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, he's the middle child, so he's getting back at us a little bit. But I think just like doing it the right way. We run our practices here like an NFL team. I think 8 times last year we ever had one of our own players tackle another one of our own players in practice. We just practice the way the NFL practices, look with like kind of the end in mind. We want to stay healthy. We want to do it a different way, where it's all about alignment, assignment, technique,
Mm-hmm.
leverage, those types of things. And I think it worked. For us, we play in the top division here in Tennessee. We went undefeated into the semifinal of the state championship last year, so expectations are high. We have a tough one against a team from Memphis, Whitehaven, on Friday night here at our place, and then it doesn't get any easier after that. So So it's exciting. My brother's the head coach. My dad was the tight ends coach last year. I'm the offensive coordinator. My nephew's the quarterback.
Nice.
He's committed to Wyoming. He's trying to be the next Josh Allen, hence the hat, kind of supporting him. But we got a lot of talented kids, some who will go on to play college football, some who won't, but love football. And I think my experience as a football player, I played in the Super Bowl, and I also played in the Super Bowl in high school, the state championship. Lost them both. Which one stings me more? Probably the one I lost with my buddies in high school that I did life with, growing up, went to lunch with every day. But they both sting. But there's great lessons in the wins and the losses. And I'm excited to just be around these kids, these coaches who are also teachers, and we're having a ton of fun.
Man, you really give it back to the game, man. Glad that you still having fun with the game, loving the energy that you have, still talking football. And I know you give that same energy off to the kids, and they need that. They need to be shown the way that from guys that have been there before, man. Much luck to much good luck and blessings to both you, the team, and your family as well, man. Tell everyone I said hello. Coach London, Big Coach London says hello as well when I told him that I was interviewing you.
All right. Well, tell Big Coach London we got some ball players for him. So if he wants to come down and recruit any of them, we'll get the transcripts ready, the GPAs, and obviously the football film as well.
All that, man. Good luck on Friday, bro.
Appreciate you.